Welcome back to the BDG Fantasy Football Channel. As always, I am running a draft, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Adam and Andrew. This is the first of a bi-weekly series that we're going to be doing. Every other Thursday, we'll be live on Thursday mornings-ish, 10:30, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Because of this live stream, y'all can be in the chat, ask us any questions that you want throughout the live stream. You could be in the drafts with us if you are in the Big Dog chat portion of the Discord. In order to do that, you got to sign up to be a Big Dog member, bdge.co. But we're going to be doing an underdog draft every other Thursday. Each of us will have a team in the draft. The other 9 spots will be filled by y'all. And this is just a standard best ball team on underdog. So you start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and then a fat bench slot.
Whoever you are out there, we appreciate you.
Facts.
For the record, I would draft you 101.
You draft me 101? Or them?
101.
Definitely not the comments.
Not them.
All right. Well, the link is dropped in the Discord. Let's see if this big girl fills up.
The one person here, we appreciate the hell out of
They're
you.
the 102.
But I'm excited for this little mini series we're going to run here.
This is your first underdog draft of the summer, right?
Yeah. It's crazy because I normally do a whole bunch of these, but with travel content change, I have not.
That you
I was lucky. Having $75 in here, that's about to be gone by the end of the day, fam.
Facts. I got probably around 20 drafts under my belt, I would say. I'm more of a slow draft guy. Like I'll rip like 6, 7, 8 slow drafts at once. Like I'll join all of them at the same time, and then you're just every hour or so you're just on the clock in one draft.
I like actually doing that too.
I gotta be honest, I've been auto picking a lot. Like it keeps running out my time like overnight. I'm not really paying attention.
Give you like 10 hours overnight.
Yeah, but I'm saying like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm not paying attention.
Sleep's good though.
And then when I
crazy,
but then when I wake up, I'm not. There's like just hours I'm not doing underdog drafts. You know, I just don't feel like doing it.
You see that type of energy? You got to get that good sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm fucking on top of this. I'm about to wreck y'all.
Damn.
Fair enough.
Right,
I'm about the same
more.
actually.
Well, Andrew would have drafted you. I'm about to out draft your ass right now.
20 something drafts in as well.
And
Same thing, a lot of slow drafts.
Somebody was like, "Nah, we've seen enough."
What are you mumbling about?
We had one. Now we're down to none. The viewers, I'm just kind of looking at that eyeball number.
What do we need left on the draft?
We need 4
We need 4 slots filled.
All right, I'll throw it into the main. Throw it into the main fucking Discord.
The main folks get a little treat today, then, huh?
Yeah.
Well, they'll get to be in the underdog draft, but not in the live stream itself. Yeah, give them a little taste.
Peasants.
Yeah. Peasant action.
Taste. That's
give them some bread, but don't let them sit at the table.
Sit at the kid table.
Yeah, the kid table is lit. I miss the kid table. I still get put at the kid table in a lot of the family events.
My daughter.
I feel like you choose to sit there.
It's insane.
Energy's crazy.
I can't get it.
I'm like anymore. The kid table is every day at work.
That's actually kind of what it's like to work here.
Casey's like a fucking vet in the office now. Kid turned 25 today.
Crazy.
All right.
Starting now.
He was so happy today when I came in. I'm like,
what pick did everyone get? Oh, I'm at the 12 spot.
Okay. Draft starts in a minute.
Where are you at?
About to find out. 105.
Okay. I'm at 109. Guts in here at the 111.
Oh, Gut got in this?
Yeah. Honey baked.
All right. Let's so with your pick, I don't give anything away, but like, have you guys drafted from your slot before?
I have a strategy that I use from this 112 pretty much every time right now.
That's what I was actually going to ask. Like, based on your slot, do you have a thing that works for you, or just based on ADP, something you are comfortable doing?
You for sure either you double down on a position.
I double down on the running backs if one of those top guys fall.
I feel like you probably go like Gibbs and Taylor.
That's what I like to do.
Okay. Yeah, I fucking read you like a goddamn novel.
Well, it also helps that we recorded a video about 25 minutes ago where I told you I do a lot of these double elite running backs. That helps a little bit.
Thought I was paying attention. That's crazy.
That helps.
Christian McCaffrey 101 is
first
crazy.
Player off the board. Why is that crazy?
No, it's not. I think it's exactly
like
how
consensus.
It should go. Yeah.
J-Mo's predicting that C-Mac gets hurt this year.
Bold prediction.
We're just going to talk shit. You can't defend yourself.
All right. So I'm going to rock those off here. I actually really like Jamar Chase this year, so I'm going to make that selection.
Speak up, sir.
I'm gonna make that
This ain't no
selection.
goddamn kids table.
I'm making sure that I make the right pick. I haven't drafted yet. Jamar Chase to me, T. Higgins, whether he's there or not, unhappy, whatever people are saying. Andrew was talking about how he said he's locked up. I think the target volume for Jamar Chase, if it goes up, I predict that it at least goes up a little bit. But if a little bit more target volume to him, he could end up being, I think, very close to wide receiver 1 this year. Going to be tough to beat Tyreek and CD though.
Dude. Like I feel like we haven't had the pleasure of getting like a full Joe Burrow healthy, Jamar Chase healthy year.
We haven't.
You know, like, are we gonna get it?
And by the way,
is this year the year?
His finishes are points per game, wide receiver 5, 6, and 12 without seeing that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's a good ball player, and he's got those weeks where, like last year, he scored over 50 points in a fucking game. So it's like they can stay healthy together at the same time. I mean, I think the other like sneaky thing that we're not really talking about with the Cincy offense is Tyler Boyd is gone. Joe Mixon is also gone, and they fucking just overused the shit out of Mixon. He was getting first down carries left and right. He was getting like 20 carries a game. There's a chance that this offense goes much more pass heavy, right?
That's kind of what I was saying is like I just without even T. Higgins possibly being gone, the volume I think should go up for Chase. But if somehow T. Higgins end up getting moved before the season, I mean, you could be looking at him having the league leader in targets, and that would just we don't even know what that ceiling is.
Yeah, we really don't with Chase.
If Gut's watching this, he sniped me. He did the Jonathan Taylor thing.
The door was closed, so that's just he just did it.
I wonder if maybe he was listening to the stream.
Maybe.
Like, fuck Andrew.
That would be gas.
But I ended up going Gibbs and
how do you feel about
Garrett Wilson.
How do you feel about taking Garrett Wilson there as opposed to the double running back approach?
I don't actually love picking wide receiver at that spot.
God,
I like to do the double running back because I feel like when you do have the wide receivers there, you're kind of the first guy picking in a tier. But of those guys, I'm the most confident in Garrett Wilson. So if I have to make that selection, I'll make that selection there. I thought about going Saquon Barkley, but because him and Gibbs have the same bye week in a best ball format, I don't really want to double up on that.
That's a actually interesting and good pool to talk about. I think for Dynasty, remember I was lower than you guys. I still really like Garrett Wilson. I'm starting to get though. I know the range of if he doesn't do well this year, it's not going to be good for his Dynasty value. But I'm starting to get like uncomfortably bullish on. I think Garrett Wilson's going to have everything that he needs to eat this year. So
I don't think there's a world like if Rodgers plays where Wilson isn't like. I think we're drafting him probably at his floor of fantasy wide receiver.
You think so?
Kind of,
dude. I mean,
if Rodgers plays, yeah.
I think he could end up being so damn good this year.
Like, well, that's not really a question.
He's also,
I mean, going this time last year, Rodgers was also going to play.
He's 41 too, but I agree in sentiment though. Yeah, I really don't like this pick at all here,
dude. I hated my draft spot. Going back at the 204, you have about 10 receivers that I would be like fine with taking there. I don't want any of the running backs up at the 204.
You know what? I've been doing some soul searching. Let me go ahead and get a little exposure to Jalen Waddle here.
There you go. Well, you currently have 100% exposure to him.
Yeah.
This is going to be the place I have some exposure because I can't do it in Dynasty, and I can always trade him for something great. But I feel like at the spot there, Chris Olave, Nico, like I feel like Jalen Waddle still offers a lot of spike weeks in best ball.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I have to take Ayuk up at the 2-4, I don't feel great that I have to get him 5 spots higher than Waddle or Olave or any of those guys. That's a shitty spot.
I sincerely thought about taking Achane. It felt crazy. What would you think of if I would have taken him there at 208? Is that insane?
I've taken a lot of second round Achane. I actually think we're probably in the minority of doing that, but you and me, I feel like are on the same page there.
I feel like for best ball purposes, it's like a goat. He's the goated type.
He is the goat best ball pick.
Yeah.
For those of y'all that have not experimented on an underdog, this is best ball where they start the best players each week at each position. So, taking high upside spike plays are kind of part of this game. That's why like high ceiling players tend to go a little bit earlier in drafts. And if you are new to underdog, you haven't been in any of the drafts, this is without a doubt the single best way to like prep throughout the summer and understand player values and the trends and, what guys you should be looking at later in the drafts and just get you ready for the drafts that you're going to do with your friends, family, etc. Underdog Fantasy, that's the app. Use code BDGE when you deposit for the first time, and they're going to give you a shitload of money in bonuses. All right. So code BDGE and then come draft with us in the Discord.
Yes. Imagine when I wasn't going to take Kyron going right in front of me.
That was a pretty significant reach on Kelsey. We just got
3-3. Laporta, Kelsey, yeah.
I don't really.
People like Kelsey in redraft.
I worry about what Malik's going to actually be, but third round and the volume that I think is guaranteed to come his way because just of I'm gonna do it here. Lean in.
Interesting. What up, Ryan? What's his profile pic? What is that?
Yeah, what's the avatar, JMO?
Really? It looks like it's angled. I can't.
Oh yeah,
to me it looks like someone laying on a snow hill or something.
It definitely looks like snow.
What the hell?
What the hell? All right, let's get into what just happened here. DK.
Damn, I want a DK there.
Neighbors.
Really?
Henry.
I'm interested to see what DK is in this new offense. Though.
Oh, is Mr. Cuppy gonna fall to me here?
Would you have taken Kyron here?
For sure.
Damn.
Would you?
No.
Fuck this motherfucker.
Who do you take, Cup?
I shouldn't have said it.
It's my Trans Am Snow pick.
Dub. Oh man. Okay. All right. Don't panic, Nick. Don't panic.
You only have 14 seconds.
Get it together, brother.
Oh fuck, dude. We got Penix eyes. I'll tell you one thing. It wasn't until Penix was drafted, but I've now seen these Penix eyes, on a multitude of times since.
Stop it.
2, 1.
I put players in the queue just so when time runs out.
What a coward's way out, you know?
No. Because listen, I did underdog streams for like 4 years, and I would time out all the time, and people would be like, "Use the queue, use the queue." It took me 5 years to learn how to use a goddamn queue.
You know what?
I got
going back to the OG days. I give you credit because I remember vividly those streams.
Facts. Hoosier said, "I'm excited for DK, dude." So I'm working on a video right now on the redraft channel that is like 6 players I'm just fucking hyped up to draft. It's not like best values or whatever, like, you know, guys I think will outperform. It's just like dudes that I'm fucking, you know, hit the draft button. I'm like, let's go.
I want to see what he is in this new offense for sure.
DK, DK was up there. DK is on that list for me.
Pickens. I moved Pickens quite a bit in my rankings for redrafts, but this feels high.
I don't fucking believe a word you're saying, Anthony. Grachowski.
I'm not sure what's happening with
Gronkowski.
Grachy boy.
Gratch whiskey.
I gotta say, you know what?
Oh, hey, Victoria's Secret's coming to the expo to the shit house. What's up, man? I don't know if he's in the stream, but he's in the draft.
What are you talking about?
The person that just drafted. Victoria's Secret.
When's the expo?
August, first weekend of August.
That's in Cleveland?
It's in Canton. Hall of Fame. Right by the Hall of Fame.
How far is that from you?
20 minutes.
That's fire. That's no wonder you keep going every year.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You coming to Ohio finally?
Not a chance.
Yeah.
When is it, you said?
Never for you. For first weekend of August, but I beat you.
Is that August 2nd, 3rd?
Yeah.
I got a wedding.
Bro has a wedding every weekend.
I'm seriously have a bachelor party or a wedding like every weekend this summer.
I'd rather you just tell me you don't want to come.
No, I told you that too. I told you that too, but I also have a wedding.
I remember. You remember this when we got Nick to do a guest spot on our podcast. This is 2021 or 2022, I think maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells us like before we even start, like, yeah, I would never come to Ohio, and I was like, damn,
crazy,
fucking crazy.
Listen, I'm just setting y'all up for the truths. The hard truths.
I was like, but I also know that he wasn't actually lying at all there. I was like, damn. Well,
listen, you ever get married again?
Oh, I'm on the clock.
I
just want to talk about 5 seconds here.
I'm talking to you. I ain't coming to your wedding, JMO.
Yeah, I know you.
So, what do you got on your squad so far?
I reached a little bit on QB, but I hadn't.
No, I love that. I thought about taking QB each of my last 2 picks.
I actually I like to either take one early or kind of like to fade them, and I had 5 seconds to think, and I just took Jalen Hurts.
So last year, like Hurts, Allen, all those guys were going back into second, early third in these drafts. And a lot of people are saying they kind of flopped. I feel like Hurts and Allen fucking ate last year, and I have no problem taking them 3rd and 4th round again this year.
They did.
How did they flop? Like, fam, those guys literally both tied and set the record for rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. 15.
So far on my team, I got AJ Brown, Ayuk, Pittman, and Isaiah Pacheco. I actually love my fucking start so far. I was thinking about going with one of the high-end QBs there, but again, like I get the allure of not going for them just because I could still wait on Burrow. I can still wait on Dak. I could still wait on 3 of those guys together.
Yeah.
There wasn't a player that I loved, which is why I just went ahead and take Hurts. I'll be honest with you. I would have, if there was a player there, I would have definitely taken him there. A Rich would be my pick coming back. I am so You want to talk about someone I'm excited for? A-Rich to the moon, man.
So he's in my queue, top of my queue, and I shouldn't have fucking said it, obviously, because there are these
Yes, you
fuckers in
should
the draft.
It's a little bit
Damn it.
delay. You'll be fine.
No, I had like 6 picks before my next, but I took Pittman. So like the A-Rich stack with Pittman up there would be
stack it up.
Yeah.
The disrespect.
And now I have 3 top wide receivers. I feel fucking good. But I could pivot here. I still got some backs I like. There's a couple, like this is a sweet spot for me for tight ends where like that tier is starting to go off. And you could just take the last of Andrews, Kincaid. Actually, now they're all starting to go. So
I would not. I've never done this. I don't think it's. I think the answer to this is no. But have you guys ever drafted 2 of what you think could be the elite scoring quarterbacks higher?
I've seen people do it.
I don't think it's the right play. I've never done it. I don't think I have the balls to do it.
I think I did that a couple times
You're on the
last
clock,
year.
so fuck it, try it.
Oh, no. Don't.
Done.
You're a cunt. You're such.
I told you no one would. I told him with the most sincere smile ever that no one would snipe him on A-Rich.
I think I did that a few times last year. I don't think I went back to check.
That was those teams. That right there was for fucking Ohio.
You're a fucking. I hate you.
They said delay works in our favor. Just saying.
I don't get how that makes sense.
I don't know how that makes
we
sense.
see it happen before you guys.
What if you have like absolute goated finishes at QB?
What?
2 quarterbacks in this format, just absolute GOAT quarterbacks.
I mean, then you're missing out on half the good weeks then.
Why?
Because one of them has to get benched every week.
But how do you know that they could have great overall season finishes?
What if they both score 30 one week and now it's on your bench?
If they score the same amount,
that would be goated.
If they score the same amount of points, they both get benched. That's how underdog works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ.
Well, you know how underdog also works?
I only wanted when
the motherfucker gets sniped,
I'm not doing
draft.
No, I'm not doing streams anymore.
That's fine. I got y'all.
Put a 5-minute delay on
Nick
that.
has
thing.
no backbone. He says one thing, 17 minutes later, he's out. I'm gonna keep coming with the stream. All right. Nothing you can do about it. I love you either way.
I think I've gotten sniped on every round so far.
Damn, dude. I want a Christian Kirk.
The pick
dude, actually, can I tell you how excited I am for this stream? Just the fact that that took place and then you drafted Rachaad White, who I know you hate.
That's not true. I love him in redraft. At the 5'9". Shout out my 5'9" Kings.
Nice pivot.
Wait, J-Mo, there was something you put up on the board before.
The disdain he has for Rachaad White.
There was an actual fantasy
being
question.
Cool on him.
I think it was the bust. Ryan asked.
Why are you capping?
We all think going to be the biggest fantasy bust this year. Only dudes who are drafted so far.
Oh, okay.
Who's going to be the biggest bust?
Well, drafted so far, the fact that Hollywood Brown's coming off this high, I don't really call him a bust, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I hate that.
I feel like he doesn't fit the mold. Busts.
I mean,
define bust. Are we talking like they just kind of underperform a little bit, or they absolute flops?
Flops.
Flops is a different.
Like you look back and you're like, that guy was a fucking cone.
He's a cone. All right.
I mean, based on the ADP and where he got drafted right now, I'm lower on Neighbors than where he's being drafted in underdogs right now.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Neighbors realistically. We talked about Josh Jacobs a little bit. Don't like Jacobs in the 4th either.
How about Joe Mixon?
I love the value on Joe Mixon.
Yeah, 6th round Mixon I'm okay with.
I think the sentiment is that his situation is not going to flop. I think people are too bullish on the fact that he's just guaranteed to be
what can happen
this
to him.
year.
I'm people.
I don't even think he needs to be good in order to be good for fantasy.
He hasn't been good to be good for fantasy.
I guess my point is, what's his expectation? Flopping is relative to what the expectation is. I feel like the expectation is at least a top 15 back. Just pencil that in.
He's not being drafted.
I think he's I don't even think he's getting drafted there.
Yes, what was his running back off the board right here? Actually, I'm kind of curious. Isn't it like roughly running back 15?
Probably. Actually, you're probably right.
I mean,
16. Running back 16.
16.
All right, so
there you go.
It's on the borderline, yeah, but that's not like I wouldn't say like people are like guaranteeing he's going to be a top 15 back if he's in that area. You think he's like his expectations should be lower than getting drafted?
I just think that there's in a new situation there's less certainty than people give him credit for.
I have him as my running back 13 in my rankings, so I'm quite high on him.
I'm not saying you're not bullish, right? I get it. You know what?
What What do you think is worst case scenario for him though? Like the problem is Dameon Pierce was so bad last year that he doesn't have competition in the backfield.
The worst case scenario is not anything from a Texan standpoint. The worst case scenario is he hits the running back age cliff and he falls off. That's the worst case scenario.
Well,
But what
no,
happens?
the worst case scenario is he gets hurt.
Like talk about that in a practical sense. He falls off like what? He averages
He does-
3.9 yards per carry.
He does what Eckler did last year. That's the worst case scenario.
But for the record, since he just refused to not use him, he was not very efficient or good last year. We may have already seen him really start to fall off.
But he's been like that. He's been like
Right,
that.
but he was propped up by just like massive opportunity.
I think he'll get the same there in
Right.
Houston.
That's been him for a long time. I feel like massive opportunity, a lot of like goal line opportunities. Like I don't see it. Right. Yeah. I don't see a difference in Houston, I guess.
His efficiency though last year for sure was a lot worse. He did have he's always had a couple like crazy games that end up making his season.
Yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
better.
Yeah. He'll have like 4 or 5 touchdown games that are fucking insane.
50-point game.
Is this a redraft league? Yes, this is. I'm not sure. It's definitely not a dynasty league on Underdog. It's a redraft league.
Does
year.
Underdog do dynasty?
No.
Okay, I was going to say that'd be
just
crazy.
a redraft league. Quick review says DK in the third above some of the other guys is also disgusting. I think I disagree.
Damn. Quick review. I like that name. It's perfect for like
DK went at the 3-6. So I guess
you just come in and start giving your 2 cents.
Quick review, just talk shit real
I
quick.
love
Just like
this.
insert that. Yeah. Wait, so who do you have that you thought was disgusting DK going over? Is it the only one I could see is like I can make the argument for Cooper Kupp. Other than that, I feel like DK and Pittman, Diggs, T. Higgins, DJ Moore kind of all have the same relative range of outcomes. I would say DK's probably got a pretty cool ceiling this year too.
Yeah, I agree. I also like Ryan Grubb coming over, calling the new offense. I think it could mean good things for pretty much all of those pass catchers, even Geno Smith.
You guys, you have it. Another Geno bandwagoner.
I didn't say all that.
What'd you say?
Said it could be good for him.
Gut and JMO love Geno
That
this
sounds
year.
like a Geno bandwagoner to me, but damn, really? People don't even like Kamara anymore. I got sniped on Kamara. That's crazy. That fucks everything up. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Now I gotta take Monty. I gotta take Monty.
Going 0 RB, huh?
I mean, it's not really that different, but I just kind of I feel like Kamara, just because of the situation of the Saints, might give you one of these seasons where you don't think he's that good, but just a ton of receptions.
Yeah.
Check down work.
He's someone that I'm like, he's gonna hit the age cliff, but
I feel like he already has, but he just keeps getting PPR points. Yeah.
That's like the theme of this year. It's just all these fucking shit running backs that just keep getting fed
I'm actually
volume.
That reminded me to
You know why? It's because this running back class
sense.
was ass.
Wait, what's that?
This running back class wasn't good, so we didn't get
Fucking Christ.
the influx of
Dak
starters.
there.
So everyone signed the veteran in free agency.
Oh yeah, that definitely does play a factor in the free agency for sure.
You're gonna do Gracchi.
How many rookie QBs will be a QB1 this year?
Okay, that's actually a good question.
How many? What was it?
How many of the rookie QBs can be a QB1 this year?
I'm gonna put the over under at
I think 2.
0.5. You take the over?
How many can be? Oh, will be. I was gonna say
will be.
can. I think there's 2 that
Can be.
could end up being.
And that's Daniels and Caleb.
Right. One, I don't think if we're talking season end, I don't think that JJ or May end up actually starting day 1 for sure.
I don't either.
So that already makes it tough for them.
All right. So answer the tough question. How many will be?
1.
0.
You think 0?
0.
Who? I have to pick who it is now?
Yeah.
I thought the question just says how many rookie quarterbacks will be a
If you
quarterback
watched
one
his
this year.
stream
Just
last
answer the
night,
I'm answering the
if
question.
you-
I want to answer Ryan's question, then I'll get to you.
if you
all right?
watched his stream last
I'm
night,
a paid
it's
subscriber.
Jaden
Answer my
Daniels.
question.
Damn. You see this? This is insane behavior right now. Who will it be? Jaden Daniels.
Told you.
Dub gut.
He doesn't have to be a good football player to be a quarterback 1, actually.
Facts like Anthony Richardson.
RG3.
Crazy.
Remember RG? Remember the last time they drafted a quarterback this high? RG3 actually was not a very good career. Got hurt, unfortunately.
Great year too.
Outrageous rookie season though.
Mm-hmm. Where did he finish that year?
I want to say like
QB.
top 5 quarterback. Honestly.
Really?
I really believe so. Yeah, he was outrageous as far as running the football.
Why do I have to keep
Let me go back
doing
and
this,
pull it up.
Nick?
This is going back deep. Oh,
I have to keep doing this, I guess.
wait, what?
I just
Keep doing what?
keep getting Rashi Rice exposure. I just keep
No,
doing
you
it.
keep choosing to do that. You don't have to keep.
Why?
doing that.
Yeah, wait. Can you talk through that?
Please.
I never feel good taking Rashi Rice.
Mm-mm.
I just feel like every person in this tier doesn't have the ceiling that he has when he's on the football field. And I really don't believe that his suspension is going to be that long.
Why?
Why would it be?
He's a fucking problem child.
Because he's a fraud.
I don't want to get too much into the legal, but for the most part, like
Have you read stuff about
Yes,
it?
you do though.
But look, we've had guys like Alvin Kamara who are on video beating people. Like we have Tyreek Hill punching old men at the marina. We have like all these guys that go out and do stupid shit. And even last year, like Jordan Addison, 120 miles down the freeway because he had to save his dog, quote unquote. Like, are any of these guys getting suspended for a long period of time? No. I just don't expect Rashi to get suspended like that.
All right.
I don't know.
Can you give me like a little more clarity as to what you expect then? Like what you think he'll get?
Give us a projection.
Yeah, there we go.
4.5 games is the over/under.
Under.
Really?
Yes. I would say 0 to 4 max.
0
Yeah.
to 4.
0 to 4 max.
I think 4 is probably. Oh, that's probably fair.
I would be, if I had to tell you like max, not max, I guess the most comfortable 2 games. Yeah, no, the Dallas nightclub
there
stuff
was,
got wiped away. That's not even real anymore.
That's if the league, if Roger decides to investigate anything, remember when Zeke got suspended? None of that was supposedly real.
That's the thing with the NFL, bro. They kind of just beat to their own drum.
I just think there's no. It's a fucking Super Bowl champ, Kansas City Chiefs.
Dog,
We don't
the
give a
running
shit.
back sniping is just. I now hate this entire draft.
Who did
I
I
just
even
picked- maybe I
pick
just
with my
picked
last
Jaden
one?
Daniels
Oh,
there.
I picked
My
Rashi.
third quarterback,
Oh yeah, good.
Raheem Mostert. Best ball, I actually feel like he's.
Did you end up taking Achane in the second?
No, I thought about it. I took
Rashi does not get suspended this year. Have to wait for the legal
I
proceedings.
took a wide receiver.
Quick
Yeah.
review.
I took Waddle.
Quick reviews out of pocket.
I mean, look, man.
I think quick reviews on.
Here's the thing.
Quick reviews on some shit.
Let's just ask the honest question here.
Quarterback 4,
If
RG3, rookie season.
there was no off the field things for Rashi, where would we be drafting him at?
Where's
Where's
he would
the
probably
relevant-
be in the 4th round?
So I got him what? 8th round?
Yeah.
I mean, brother.
I mean, he's facing a suspension possibly.
But I was going to say
If
the
you
relevance to
drafted-
that is that
If you drafted Alvin Kamara last year who was facing a suspension, you got a superstar
well, I mean,
for your fantasy football teams down the stretch.
That's a good point, but like Kamara, I think versus Rashi Rice a little bit different.
Why?
Kamara's had, like-
Kamara probably returned value, but I don't think he's a superstar.
Yeah, Rashi
Bro,
Rice
he
had
won
like
people leagues down the stretch.
Rashi Rice had what 900 yards. Kamara had like 5 seasons of top 5 running back finishes. Like they're a different caliber of players. I get the comparison's good though, because Kamara, we didn't know what the fuck was going to happen.
Yeah.
Ended up being a really underwhelming suspension.
In a best ball format like this, I am buying the mystery. I'm buying the ambiguity, and you reap the return on investment if you get it. And if not, like I paid an 8th round pick, bro. Like he's my wide receiver 5 on my roster,
No, that's fair.
I mean,
and he could end up performing
Terrible,
as my
but
wide
it's fair.
receiver 2.
that's the way you have to look at it. Obviously, if you're drafting him, understanding the suspension is coming. To what degree you don't know? Like, well, I guess when you say the first part though, you're saying where would he go? Like 4th round? That's only. Do we think there's a chance that he doesn't get suspended at all? That's I think the question.
I do.
If that's the
I don't
case,
know,
then it
dude.
makes a lot of
It
sense.
kind of just feels like whatever the most recent update is that someone on Twitter said is like the way that everybody just moves. Like whatever the most recent fucking thing was probably said 0 to 4. And that's why it's in your mind that way. But if someone comes out and be like, oh, you know what? I think he might get 6 to 8. Everyone's going to start moving as if it's
I
6
just
to 8.
don't. I just don't believe it, man. I've been all off season when we've talked about the dynasty analysis. I've been saying that you're buying the dip on Rashi. We had a buy sell hold video where we talked about buying Rashi in redraft. We're getting a dip on Rashi. It makes sense to just keep buying the dip wherever you can get it, and I think that's why my exposure is so high to him right now, because I'm getting such a good value on a super talented player, and when I can get talented players at a fraction of the cost.
Sorry.
I'm all for it.
By the way, that analysis is based on Kamara getting suspended the following season because of legal proceedings. Wait, what?
Yeah, he actually didn't. He didn't get suspended for it the following season.
Later.
Now, yeah, the one thing,
sure?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that also that footage, like they couldn't. There was a lot of technicalities. They couldn't use the footage right.
What'd you say, JMO?
What I was gonna say about Rashi though, okay, so I get your sentiment, and you make good points.
Motherfucker, Grotch.
Here's the thing.
I wanted Lockett.
Here's the thing that especially in best ball. Okay, so guys being drafted, you took Rashi at the 7-12 there.
Yeah.
Let's say he misses. Let's be really conservative. What do you think? 2 games, maybe? Like that would be probably.
I think really conservative is 0 games in 2024.
Okay, let's say he gets suspended, but very light. So 2 games, right?
Okay.
If he gets suspended 2 games, the people being drafted, the receivers you could have taken, like, how confident do you feel that he outscores Xavier Worthy if Xavier Worthy has 2 games more than he does?
Very confident.
Based on, okay. Let me just ask the questions then. How about Tyler Lockett?
Confident he outscores him.
Okay. Let's see. Cortland Sutton, probably. Curtis Samuel. I guess the point I'm making here is that, especially in best ball formats where we're talking about who's going to make your lineup, not saying Rashi Rice isn't talented and couldn't have spike weeks, but I think I might have a chance to draft someone that's actually available the entire season and gives you almost the same production.
Me? Bro, I got ETN. I needed the little stack.
Gus doesn't have a mic, but he's in this draft. And
my problem with Rashi has nothing to do with player ceiling or like spike weeks. I feel confident he's going to be a beast if he's on the field, but I just feel like we've been doing this long enough that it's not understanding the legal system. It's the fact that like none of us ever know what the fuck is actually going on, and like it just changes so easily from day to day, and like the value of the market goes crazy up and down.
So
I mean, based on past stuff for this type of event, anything more than 4 would be.
You're right.
Outside of precedent.
Typically capped at 4.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then, because if he misses what you say capped at 4 games,
yeah, if he misses 4 games, right? So he would be available of this season for 17. He'd be available for the final
13
weeks. Yep.
Can he not, in a best ball format, can he not win you weeks, those 13 weeks?
Oh, I'm not saying he can't win you weeks. He's talented enough to do that.
Little Brandon cookies. Little Brandon cookies.
Wow, I can't believe you talking about using.
See, the thing with the
I'm gonna
underdog
start keeping a little stuff tucked to the vest. That is that hurt.
Brother, stop it.
I'm just
stop it. You think you put Brandon Cooks on the map? You've been in the league for decades.
He said, "Impress me." I gave him Brandon Cooks.
Stop.
Now he's drafting for money.
See, the ADP you gotta be weary of with this shit. Because you think Cooks is gonna fall to you because you got scrubs like Mike Williams and rookie Adam.
No, just say that was a Rich get back. Just admit what it was. That's okay.
You want to trade? I'll give you Cooks for a Rich
deal. Done. Can you do that actually? I don't think you can trade in this format.
No, you definitely can't.
We need to talk to Underdog about that. That'd be pretty sweet.
Trading?
That would
literally just be a redraft.
That would be an absolute legal nightmare for them.
Speaking of legal nightmare, back to Rashi Rice. He's talented enough and definitely can. But we do. I put this on your video briefly. We do a spike week and consistency week chart for best ball scoring, and I would just say this: as good as he is, I feel like his production is, with knowing that he's at least probably going to miss a little bit of time, even if it's small. There's probably a handful of guys that can give you very similar spike week and consistency weeks for what I care about in best ball. Guys making my roster and guys giving me high end upside. Not that he's not more talented than them.
Sounds like you're kind of down on Rashi as a player.
No, just because of the fact that he's missing those weeks. Like if he has 13 weeks versus someone 17, that's a big deal in best ball scoring for me. There's 4 weeks where I know he's basically going to give me zeros factually.
Yeah, I understand that, but you're saying like you feel like you don't really believe in like the spike weeks and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's just that there's a lot of receivers that can give you spike weeks and consistency weeks that are not anywhere near as highly drafted or as talented as him.
Put that one on this. Put that one on the screen.
I saw that, and I was hoping no one saw it.
Troy Franklin, did you take him?
I'm taking Troy Franklin in every draft.
What was your ownership percentage?
I have
22.
55% exposure to Troy Franklin right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Troy
bro.
Franklin is by far my number 1 most drafted player in underdog drafts.
Why did he fall to the 4th round? Genuine question.
Why did Denver save him from the
Big
4th
Jalen
round?
Hyatt energy.
I could not tell you because you guys know we went through the whole rookie draft process. Like, I've been a big Troy Franklin guy. I think he pops on tape. I think he's a good player. And then you put him with Bo Nix in a wide receiver room with the Marvin Mims of the world. Like,
Couple goats. Yeah.
opportunity right here, right away.
Sure.
And you're getting him so cheap. Like, he's like a 14th round pick or a 15th round pick. And it's just like, why not throw that dart throw if you have conviction on the player? So for me, I have conviction on the player. I'm willing to put my stamp on him. If he doesn't pan out, it was a 15th round pick, whatever.
Especially when you get to the later parts, I actually feel like high exposure is a good thing. It's just kind of placing your chips on one piece that cheap.
Yeah.
You already went.
Is it how many? Is it 18?
Yeah, 18 rounds.
I'm trying to keep tabs on my roster.
It's a thick draft.
Well, then guys, it's Wan'Dale Robinson, Malachi Corley, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, DeMarcus Robinson. Like, that's the range that he's being drafted in. Like, just give me
some
Troy
of those
Franklin.
some of those names are bad. Don't sleep on Tim Patrick, week 5 waiver wire claim a league winner incoming. That's been like quick review, really just hitting with the quick bites.
I feel like that's a quick review from like 21 though.
2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Every year it's Tim Patrick's season.
I feel like there was a time when Russ was still cool and it was Russ and Tim Patrick courtside sitting in a game. Like, he's going to break out.
A couple goats.
It's kind of sad, all the injuries, but RIP.
Oh boy. Oh
no.
Never that.
Oh.
Never that.
Never that.
Wait, that's not who I picked.
Just drafted that?
Never that.
I did.
You just drafted Javonte?
I didn't mean to. I put him in the queue, but as time expired, I hit the queue for someone else and he put him underneath it.
Bro, the ADP value on that was crazy.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah,
Wan'Dale's a sneaky little player this year.
He is.
Second year coming back from the ACL.
I actually kind of like in best ball, especially. I kind of like it too.
Quietly 70 catches last year. Do we believe that Franklin can't get 70 catches this year?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
I don't.
It's the A dot is the reason why. Wan'Dale's getting 6-yard catches. Troy Franklin's going to get targets that are 16 yards down the field.
That should be even better for you in your.
I'm saying there's no chance he can get 70 catches on that type of A dot. He'll maybe finish with 45 to 50.
We'll see how they use him. We don't know how Sean Payton's going to use him.
Yeah, he's going to fucking sit his ass on the bench.
Sean Payton says he's the GOAT.
Javon, to your point,
Sean Payton, there's never been a player he's had that he wasn't the GOAT. Everyone's a joker. Everyone's a fucking versatile player.
I said he's the GOAT. God damn it.
When you drafting Blake Watson?
I'm not drafting him.
Sutton is holding out. I mean,
wow. From what?
Right. Like, what kind of
he wants a contract, brother.
Honestly, I get it, bro. If you're Sutton and you just saw Jerry Jeudy get the bag that he got, you're gonna be like, how does this fucking guy
speaking of which, Guts not here to talk about his pick of Jerry Jeudy.
F it, brother. I went Nick Chubb.
Interesting. I feel like I was just what you just told me in the last video was like,
I know
you don't buy in.
I know, but
I'm confused.
There's not a price early enough that I could take Chubb at. Or late enough. Yeah.
Look, he's my RB4.
Where would you take him?
It would genuinely have to be probably in the 14th, 15th round of these drafts.
All right. Was that a round ADP for him right now?
I got him about 5 spots lower than where his ADP was, but it's about it.
So 11, 12. All right.
Yeah.
Downs was the guy I put in my queue.
He wasn't
instead
gonna,
of
he wasn't
Javonte Williams. Yeah. No.
Right. Javonte, I was not liking drafting him at my spots, but to your point, where Nick ended up taking him fraudulently, he didn't even want him. That was actually pretty good.
Because his ADP is like 109, and Nick got him at like 132. Like, that was way deep.
I like the talent, but I'm getting
nervous.
Maybe it's coach speak that I'm just buying too. I'm getting pretty nervous.
It's just weird vibes over there all around. My only problem with Wan'Dale is that both he and Neighbors both mainly play the slot. I mean, Neighbors is dominant in the slot. He's going to play outside.
Yeah.
Neighbors going to play everywhere.
Yeah. They're going to use him as like a flanker and a downfield guy, but he's not. Malik is not a slot wide receiver.
The one thing about that, though, is like, all right,
Wan'Dale can't play elsewhere.
There you go. Neighbors is absolutely best in the slot.
Sure.
But I feel like a lot of receivers operate great in the slot.
1,000,000%. Like Michael Thomas, everyone's like, play him as a big slot receiver. It's like, sure, he'll dominate there, but he'll fucking dominate on the outside too.
That's kind of what I was exactly. Well said.
I got you, dog.
Damn. We went from sniping each other to finally.
So
we bite.
Happy birthday.
Where are you guys at with your teams right now? How are you feeling about your teams right now?
I don't even know what my team is.
I don't feel
like I'm
great.
still trying to talk about Rashi Rice. I don't even know where things
Actually,
are at right now.
I don't hate my team. There was like 3 or 4 picks that the guys I wanted got taken the pick before me.
What do you guys feel? Talk your thoughts here. Kendre Miller or Marshawn Lloyd are the 2 guys I'm between right now. Who do you prefer of those 2? Don't cap.
I think
seconds.
In a redraft format, give me
Kendre.
Kendre.
God, now I really want to take Marshawn, but I'm gonna ride with BDG on this one. We're going.
I kind of feel like Kendre actually scares me a little bit for the fact that
he scares the shit out of me.
I kind of feel like his floor is almost like a 0 this year.
I feel like his floor is exactly what it was last year.
Yeah, it's not great.
I know there's a lot of injuries, but like rookies that can't get on the field, don't get on the field. I feel like a lot of times that ends up being a theme.
Bro, this value on Herbert right now is insane.
I
just took Stafford over.
Do you actually think so?
Yes, dude.
What's his line on UD? 36? His passing yardage line on Underdog is 3,600.
I think that Herbert's
not great.
He's too talented to not give a pretty nice floor. But like I feel like the ceiling in this new offense with the passing weapons, all that is not there. So like I don't necessarily love it in a best ball format. Like if you tell me he's quarterback 2 in my Superflex league, I'm loving life. But
Hoosier says, "Isn't Kamara holding out? He wants a new contract, but he's not gonna. He's not gonna hold out.
Running backs, period, holding out anymore is.
How is he even holding out? Isn't the contract he?
So here's the thing. He's trying to get
lucrative as fuck.
He's trying to get more guaranteed money pushed back. Like he's trying to get an extra year because the reality of the situation is next year the Saints can cut bait with him.
Yeah,
and only eat like $9 million in dead cap. And so he's trying to get more of that guaranteed money, push it out a little bit further. So it's harder for them to cut him next year. So he gets more money.
Gotcha. That makes sense, I guess. I don't see what kind of leverage he has.
I don't know why they would do that because he's just trying to make their life harder.
If there was a team that he has leverage over, it's the Saints who just.
He's also for that contract, he held out, right? Until like close to the season.
All right, another quick one here. Ty Chandler and Jalen Wright.
Chandler.
Give me Chandler, baby.
Chandy.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chance.
Best ball, like.
I really wouldn't overthink the best ball part relative to just redraft, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's yapping out here.
I was gonna say it's loud enough to be like make my train of thoughts change.
People
like
loud.
Miami's running back room last year, there was only I think 8 running backs. I put this on your video. 8 running backs that gave spike weeks 4 times in the season. We define that as a top 5 running back finish. Miami had 8 between Achane and Mostert. Both of those guys missed time and could very well miss time. So it's like Jalen Wright ends up, even if he's one of those running backs where he probably is a 0 for a lot of the weeks, but even if it was 3 or 4 where he plays, he could slide into that same role.
Yeah.
Now, to the point you're making, the reason I take Chandler there is because he has that. But no, he has he could end up being in a position to actually play the whole season and actually be better than Aaron Jones. I don't think that's the case, but it could be the case. He was really good last year, man. I love watching Ty Chandler play, actually.
Yeah, he was cool. We were in the office. We were really high on him in the preseason, I remember. We thought he was going to get his crack at like the starting job and like really put some Kamani, 13th round pick.
I drafted him. So he's one of my highest exposure players. I have 7 shares of Ty, and it's funny, right before all that happened, when they traded for Cam Akers, I was getting ready to like cut a lot of those shares. And
another tight end.
Luckily, I held on to him.
I don't have one.
What was that? You don't have what?
I don't have a tight end yet.
What do you mean?
He took his second tight end.
Who does have a tight end?
I got 2.
Oh.
Yeah, I needed that Cole Kmet. He was staring me right in the face.
He's a best ball guy I like because he's just going to score a handful of touchdowns. I feel pretty good about that.
They went Chandler right.
You guys are going to force my hand.
Cole Kmet. Actually, I like the Cole Kmet pick.
You're going to force my hand here, brother.
On what?
Troy Franklin.
Force your hand. Fam, no one's forcing your hand over half the drafts.
No wonder you have 50% share. You got to force my hand.
Bro, now he's like, listen, I'm going to reach.
Look.
What over?
No, I'm not. I'm at the turn.
I thought you said it was 15th round.
I'm at the turn right now, so I have to take a little bit of a reach, but
his ADP this is 13 and 14. This is like the early part of the 14.
He's 172. His ADP is 172. I'm taking him at 159. So I am taking a reach, about a round reach.
That's what I was trying to say.
But
this could have been my first share of him.
I mean,
weren't the fucking woke.
there
If
is
I wasn't a
If
woke-
you weren't the goddamn woke,
if I
there
didn't love Troy Franklin more than I love anybody in my life right now.
you think I'm not about? Actually, I ain't even gonna spill my secrets.
Mm,
I'm just gonna bury you. I'm just finna bury you.
well,
Honestly,
there's some things I'm not worried about, and
This
that's
team is
Rashad
elite.
Bateman and
That's
Nick
not-
Barry.
That wasn't what I was talking about. When there's another guy down the list that I'm gonna fucking bury you with, but I didn't want to say. his
While
name.
that may not be what we're talking about, there's the fact still remains. There's Shoddy B,
No,
Nick
Shoddy B-
Barry, and me.
no, Rashad's gonna be him this year,
I love this roster.
Harbaugh says it every year.
and I'm saying it this year. There's a difference between me and John.
Uh,
John or Jim?
Boys, I think the energy.
I get a
drinks are
lot of shit
starting
wrong,
to hit.
but I think I learned my lesson. I was so in on Rashad Bateman
Nah,
early.
I gotta learn the lesson on Rashad Bateman at least 4 to 5 times.
I already did more than that. It's like a bad draw.
Hey Mo, you put that dynasty question up for us.
Thank you.
Dynasty.
J-Mo, can you put that dynasty question up for us?
James Steen. Oh, bruh.
Luke
What the
Gardner, dynasty
the
question. I have
actual
Mahomes and Dak looking to tear up from Dak to Kyler. Is that a tier? Yeah, I guess that's a tier up. Should I send Dak and a 2025 second or Dak and Jalen Roige?
Either's fine for a tier up, I think, but I'd rather send Jalen Wright than I
For
would
sure.
the second.
Yeah, Jalen Wright's like a third round pick for
probably.
the most part. Yeah, Jalen Wright's a third round pick. I would be cool with either of them.
I do either. Yeah.
Yeah. Preference Jalen Wright first and then Dak after that.
I low key love getting Chuba Hubbard right there.
Super flex start
Dude.
10 to your PPR.
Okay,
It's
so let's
fine.
talk about that because I actually do think that Chuba is such a nice value in these drafts because how long do we think it's going to take for Jonathan Brooks to get rolling?
Half the season, probably.
Half the year?
Yeah.
So you're getting what? 8 games of him probably being the running back 1 in this offense?
I agree.
Well, are you ready to quit Miles Sanders?
No, not really, but I'll take Miles. In
At the
18.
cost of Miles Sanders right now, I'm definitely in. No, I'm just kidding.
I actually, I don't really know. Obviously, you can't know. No one can see the future. I would expect them to not be rushing him back. Really,
They just have no reason to rush him back. The team's just
That's what I
not
feel like.
they're not like a good running back away from being
Right.
fucking anything.
and I don't feel like he'll be realistically ready early enough to where they don't have a little bit of a picture of what their season is by that point.
Facts.
So I guess at that point, I'm saying Chuba Hubbard was actually he was solid at the end of last year.
Real solid.
Yeah.
From honestly most of last year. He had a lot of like 20 touch games.
So I'm just like, when I was just looking at the guys on my queue, I'm like, wait, Chuba's still here? I got to take him here. And I got him at 1408.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Ooh. I was kind of hoping Thielen fell to me.
All right. I am to the point now. So I'm at 12, 14. Okay. 4 picks left, right? Yeah. Math is hard. How do you,
Damn, what was Jack
let
asking?
me guys ask
We were
you,
using this room. Told him forever.
let me ask you guys this as far as what you normally build out, what your numbers look like for your team builds.
Oh,
Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end numbers at the end of the draft. What does it normally look like for you?
It depends on the strategy, but definitely it's targeting 2 at the onesie positions, the tight end and the QB.
Okay.
But if I punt one of those positions late, like for example, this one, my tight end's going a little bit late, I'll probably throw 3 tight ends on the mix and just see what happens. But
That's what I usually do too. I go 3 and 2, depending on which. If I draft a tight end early, I'll go 2 there. If I drafted quarterback
Speaking
early,
of
I'll go-
which, it's time to get on board,
there you go.
Mr. Noah.
Noah Fant, I had him in my queue.
Damn. So now that you're taking zeros at tight end,
Right. I was, and then I just took.
But then for the other positions, like six running backs, usually about 8 wide receivers, probably is what I'm doing.
yeah. Does the
Okay.
fact that Green Bay has so many young receivers that can pop off scare you from having shares? You treat like Miami, where you want all the shares of the great offense.
The
Miami's a
latter.
little bit different because they have like they're
Kinda
condensed
consolidated, yeah.
in the running game and the
They're on the clock, by
receiving
the way.
game.
Good
Oh,
save. By the
this
way.
is the backdoor stack of backdoor stacks.
Backdoor stack.
People are sleeping on how good Demarcus
Pause.
Robinson was last year.
Crazy.
What do you mean? The guy went
actually-
nuts. He had like a month span where he was going for like 80 yards and a touchdown every single game.
See, so like I play in Dynasty Best Ball. He's actually the waiver wires. You have 30, 35 spots. It's hard, but you got a guy like him, and that is a huge pickup.
He's a game
He was
changer.
actually really nice.
You don't
He was
like-
awesome. And
He
I'm
made-
going-
he made
I don't have
lineups.
Puka or Cup, so like I get to stack him with Stafford. I
He-
feel like I just won.
He
No
was literally
Tutu
making
Atwell?
lineups in the playoffs for teams in meaningful
Yeah.
weeks.
You don't like
Pretty
Tutu Atwell?
Who?
No, it's DeMarcus over him.
Tutu had flashes last year too.
And then DeMarcus showed up, and then it became his job.
That's what Tutu's career is going to be. Very
just,
brief flashes.
Yeah.
Watch this. Watch this,
Green
brother.
Bay. Do you like Miami? So with Green Bay,
Bang.
I do think in a sense you do have to, because it's probably 4 guys like Watson, Reed, Dobbs, Wicks. You have to at least eliminate like one of them from the way that you're drafting, I think, a little bit, and like put your stamp on them. So I don't mind drafting Reed. I don't mind Watson. I don't mind Wicks. Dobbs to me feels like the odd man out a little bit.
I think the Reed and who's the other one going high? Reed and Watson, I feel like at the cost they're kind of conviction picks. Like you think they're going to prove to be more consistent in the high end wide receiver one in the offense. Wicks, especially in best ball, Wicks and Dobbs at the much cheaper cost. It's like, all right, I'm hoping that they give me some usable weeks, but I feel like they're different bets. But to your point, it's hard to really know with that offense and as a whole.
I will say I'm definitely not. I'm not shying away from the offense.
I agree with that.
I'm okay taking all of them pretty much at value where they are.
Do you have a preference? Is it Jaden Reed at cost? Like at cost though.
Yeah, I still probably like Reed the most at cost.
I think I probably
I feel pretty confident he's the best all around receiver right now in that group.
Let me ask you, based on last year, literally the only thing you could poke holes at is the snap share. Do you think that Green Bay is going to come around to the fact that like he's just that fucking good and we should play him full time, or do you think is that concern you at all still?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I guess it is a little bit concerning because Reed, it feels like they might pigeonhole him a little bit into like that slot flanker.
That's
receiver.
What I'm worried about. Yeah,
because if Watson's on the field, he's going to be outside full time. Dobbs and Wicks feel like more outside guys too.
Yep.
So I could see him still being like a 70% player instead of a 90, which is a big hit for sure.
Right, and if he's a slot only, the problem with that is essentially like they also have 2 tight ends that they just drafted, and they could just enough to keep it minimal there.
I think that's interesting. I'm
gonna go ahead and dip my toes back in some Chiggy, man, when he's cheap here.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm actually doing a video on my channel this weekend where I'm gonna break down all of the ambiguous wide receiver rooms. So like we'll talk like Patriots, Broncos, Green Bay Packers, like, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick one. It's like this guy or that guy. You have to pick the guy that you're stamping your approval on moving forward in dynasty leagues.
Who are you gonna pick in Denver?
Troy Franklin.
Oh wow.
Hell yeah. But I am going to take Jaden
really?
Reed in Green Bay. I think Jaden Reed's the guy that I want to own in that whole offense.
Is this at cost or is this just in general?
At cost, dynasty ADP.
Okay.
And who do we want moving forward?
Hal Robinson's ADP is not gone way up. Boggles my mind.
How who?
I'm saying.
Oh, Robinson.
Can you say the same thing about Houston's offense? Yeah, but I mean, Houston's offense has guys with a lot better of a proven track record. The thing about guys with like without the proven track record is that if they flop, there's not really a surprise to it. We just don't have enough sample size. Diggs has been great for 8 years consecutively. Nico Collins is coming off of a year that no other receiver in the Green Bay room has had. Tank, I feel like, he's kind of unproven. So it's like great last year, but who knows?
They're going to be in that show. Nico and Tank Dell. We're going to discuss those two long term.
Pop Douglas are one of the 2 rookies. I like the Patriots are ones that like they're really cheap stacks. So if you want to go like Drake May as your QB3 and then sprinkle around Pop, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, you could do that at a really, really cheap price.
Yep. Guys, assuming he makes it to me, I'm gonna make a selection that
I'm taking
Jalen
Tolbert here. Jalen Tolbert.
I like it.
This late, that offense, I'll take a shot on having someone that could be.
What's your thoughts on the Giants running back room now?
Dude, that's a good question. I feel like that's not talked about at all.
Honestly, I have the most exposure. I have a ton of exposure on my underdog drafts to Tyrone Tracy. I have a ton in my dynasty leagues to Tyrone Tracy. He's the guy that I'm taking shots on for dirt cheap. But I think the reality is in your redraft format, I'm not touching any of them other than Singletary.
Yeah, that's probably the right way to look at it. I don't know what Singletary can really like give us.
Yeah,
because he could perform well.
He's a volume play.
He performs well in like Houston or like Buffalo when he's like the 3rd or 4th option to have to make things go. But if he's in the Giants offense and he's like the second thing that they lean on to make the offense go, that feels a little bit more problematic for them.
Yeah, actually, see, this is almost like the inverse of like I think that Saquon Barkley just going to Philadelphia with an offense that is that high powered, we could see Saquon kind of unleashed, and also that'll show really how bad on the flip side, like he was doing the most in an offense that was just tragic especially last year.
Yeah.
You ready for
if you're talking about like
awful pick,
an offense that can't move the ball, it's like, all right, Devin Singletary is going to eat in that offense. I have a hard time believing that the running back position there is going to matter. What's up?
You took Clyde.
I took CEH.
Mm.
Who do you
18th
think?
round. 18th round.
I mean, I just can't.
I feel like I'm not
behind him. I feel like
that's super fair. I'm not really up to date enough with the Chiefs. I kind of feel like the Chiefs just always have 3 rookie, like undrafted free agent running backs that just get continuous hype, and I'm like not following it this year that much.
We talked about
Eric Prince from last year.
We talked about Luabe. He's gonna be my last pick. Luabe right there. Maybe get some pass.
I actually had him in my queue. I need another running back.
Yeah. That was another guy I was going to ask you on the previous video.
Dude, I love this draft. We should recap all our teams.
I think that's what the plan is, no?
Good, because I love this team.
Now, I was going to ask about, do you guys, I mean, out of New Hampshire, I have no idea.
Appreciate you, Hoosier.
How is Dylan Labe as a pass protector? I'm curious, because I feel like his role is being a third down player.
I don't know that I have those numbers.
That would be problematic for him, because he's a smaller guy. Who just Elijah Moore, still
in the 18th.
Damn, Rondale and Elijah Moore. How the turntables.
Nick's gonna take Daniel Jones.
If I didn't have 3 QBs already, I would have thought about it.
Really?
He's a good pick late, just because.
Who are you gonna take?
Round? Come on now,
Tank. You buying back into Tank?
Nah,
it's buying back in. I mean, the 18th. I was going for someone that like I feel confident is the RB2 on the depth chart. That's like all I was grasping at there.
Okay.
So everybody else that's left there, like Labe, cool, but like also could just be the 4 on the depth chart. I don't feel good about anybody else left.
What y'all think about that? Quick review says Daniel Bellinger is the all-time sleeper. How do we feel about that Giants tight end room now? Is it going to be Bellinger? Is it Theo Johnson? Is it?
I think it's Danny B. We talked about it on the late round startup sleepers.
Yeah. Did you?
Bellinger was like we liked him in the 19th, 20th round.
Vegas kid.
He was very cool. Like 2 years ago, I think he was playing well, and then he got hurt, and then Darren Waller joined the team. But he was like a really solid all-around back that can catch passes, that could block. Like, yep. I don't see a reason why he can't have a nice floor in that offense.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy how like the waves go with this. Like we were talking about a lot of these rookies here, like Kamadi Vidal getting hyped. Daniel Bellinger wasn't hyped out of the gates, but then had a really decent start. He had 2 top 12 finishes, which doesn't take much at the tight end position early in his rookie season. Then he had his eye get gouged out, and it's like then Darren Waller came over. It's like nobody remembers that he was a really hyped up rookie at one point. He's kind of completely forgotten about, but now there's no one in front of him. Like Theo Johnson is obviously athletic, but what do we know about what he's going to do as far as actually earning reps early in his career?
I was a big Bellinger guy. Also, full disclosure, any kid that comes out of Vegas, I do support a little bit more just because I got to rep the hometown. But
I love this.
Bellinger, Kincaid, Brevin Jordan, all these guys, I rep them a little bit more. But I did like Daniel Bellinger a lot, and I agree to your point where he kind of got just like forgotten about pretty much.
Yeah.
And Theo Johnson, like he had a good combine, like the athletic score was good, but the production wasn't fantastic in college.
He's got a lot of red flags for sure.
A lot of tight ends actually don't have that much production in college, but I actually think what's interesting, while he's a great athlete and his RAS score is really high, there's a chance I think Theo Johnson might be like just a very athletic, more of a blocking tight end.
That shit just happens often. Yeah, I could see that. All right, so the draft wraps up. You guys see the projections? See who's number 1?
No. I'm just looking at this beautiful roster of
underdogs and
yeah, so we can quickly recap the teams again. If you hung out with us for this long, we'll be doing these every other Thursday, starting today, obviously. These will be private live streams only for the Big Dog members. You could sign up on bdge.co. We'll put the links to draft with us to be in the live stream in Discord, which is free to join down below. And then we will upload them publicly afterwards. So anyone that wants to watch them afterwards will still be able to watch them. So if you're in that group, cool. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And then we'll recap the teams at the end. So, Andrew, you said you love your team?
I do. Quarterback, I walked away with Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. At the running back, I got Jahmyr Gibbs to stack with Goff, Travis Etienne to stack with Lawrence, and then I have Ramondre Stevenson, Nick Chubb, CEH, Dylan Wabe. At the wide receiver position, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed, Chris Godwin, Rashee Rice, Rashid Shaheed, and Troy Franklin. You'd be crazy if you didn't think I was coming away with Troy Franklin. And then tight end, punted that position, but I still walked away with Luke Musgrave, Tyler Conklin, and Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I like your team a lot. Tight end's obviously a fucking issue, though.
One of those three guys can do something any week. So
yeah,
maybe.
I get the strategy and the idea here.
Yeah, something had to give, and it was the tight end position. So there you
go. I like your wide receiver core for sure. I even think, like, looking at it after the fact, hindsight, I don't mind the Rashee Rice pick there. Like I said, I think there's other guys that could end up giving similar production, but I get it with having 4 stable wide receivers you feel really good about, and then Rashee being the 5th.
Yeah,
I like Shaheed as a best ball option too.
Not a lot of crossover on the bye weeks either on pretty much any of my positions.
I got 4 players on bye weeks.
I was actually
14.
One thing I was going to ask you, like,
not great.
I'm curious what my team ends up looking like total package here. The running back position with like Nick Chubb, CH, and Dylan Labe as your final 3. Do you have teams that look like this? Does that worry you at all, or is that just something that you plan to be a little bit light there?
It's a little nervous, mainly because Nick Chubb is such a question mark, but I'm banking on the strong top of that running back room being Gibbs, Etienne, Stevenson.
It feels kind of like par for the course on underdog. Like guys grab like 2-3 within the first 8 rounds or something, and then their last 2 or 3 are just like fucking atrocious.
Yeah, I was really trying. Where I took Chubb is actually where you got Javonte. He would have been my pick there instead. But you took him. And then I think I had in that Stevenson round, I had somebody else queued up. I can't remember who it was, but still like the pick there.
Yeah, I think you, for the strategy you were trying to pull off, especially not getting that double running back at the turn there, I like your team. I do.
Appreciate you, Nick.
You got it.
All right, let's talk about my probably sorry ass team. All right, so I have.
He said probably sorry.
So I have Jalen Hurts and A-Rich at QB, 2 high-end quarterbacks, which I paid for dearly with pricing. Dumbass. Yeah. But I have I actually patched together a running back room that I really, really like.
You got a good running back room,
yeah. One thing, though, I did every single round, I find myself continually to draft that. I felt like, which ended up leaving me a little bit lighter than I'd like to be at wide receiver outside of Chase and Waddle, especially because I think Neighbors' floor is going to be fine, but Rome, I'm not necessarily sure what he's going to produce. Like those 2 guys being my wide receiver 3 and 4, and then not drafting anyone until Wicks and Tolbert.
It looks like from rounds, 7 through like 12, you basically exclusively went running back,
and it wasn't.
Maybe a pick or 2
I wanted to go like I wanted to start getting running backs in that 7 to 10 range. I didn't expect the values to keep falling to me, and then I was like, oh shit.
That's the thing with these underdog drafts is like the value sneaks quick, and then you're like, fuck, I need to go with a different position, but like the top name always ends up being a guy that you're like, fuck, I already have 7 of these.
I really, really believe that the values I got at running back I couldn't pass on. This is actually now like one of the things I like to really reflect on these, especially because I like to do so many. This is where I think it would be so much more optimal to not draft A-Rich there and wait and get whoever the hell is my QB2.
See, like I agree with you. Should for sure have not done that.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
I actually, though, the thing is, I live with no regrets.
Whatever.
I really do like that room.
More running backs and wide receivers.
I just think
you
went one running back too much. I think that's the only thing that I would say.
Okay.
Maybe one more wide receiver thrown in.
Yeah, it's interesting with the half PPR. Looking at Warp, I actually kind of what I don't like is there's probably going to be a handful of these guys get hurt. That's what sucks about just the truth of best ball. So that's probably where you're correct, though. I think the scoring format actually leans to the running back position, but having this many is probably scary for my long term.
And the only reason why I say maybe throw the other wide receiver in is because you're going to kind of be relying on Neighbors and Odunze to be producers immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in redraft, that might be a little bit, it would make me a little bit nervous to rely on them week 1.
For sure. I get it. I think it could end up being okay. I'm curious to see how this team shakes out. And obviously how good Chase and Waddle will be a big thing. What do you guys think of the tight end room I put together late and cheap like Andrew did?
Were they?
Noah Fant, Chig, and Tucker Kraft.
I don't hate the players necessarily. I don't know. I feel like I've done a lot of drafts where I do try to patchwork the tight end teams, but I don't like having
3 no names.
I like having at least like one top 10 tight end, even if it's like Ingram or Ferguson, and then patching together like a Chiggy and Isaiah Likely or some shit like that. But having all 3 of them is kind of problem because if one of those guys gets hurt, then you're looking at like every other week is probably like 3 or 4 points.
You could be seeding you could be seeding everything. Yeah. One thing, interestingly, Noah Fant and Chig to me both good athletes, and the offensive tempo and passing situation I project to be like completely different this year.
People are really off Chig. He was like really fun going into last year.
He's like a worse version of Bellinger, man. I remember after the 22 season, I got so much hate for like saying Chig's overvalued. It's crazy. He's going to be so great. And now no one talks about him at all.
At all.
I like him as a late round
post-hype sleeper.
Yes, sir.
Post-hype sleeper.
What you got, Nicholas?
PPR.
Let's talk about your team, the go-to team.
My quarterback room, Jordan Love, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers. I wanted Dak, and I got one pick before him, but I like the receivers. This is my first share at Aaron Rodgers. He just fell super fucking late. He was sitting there in like the 16th, 17th round. So I was like, whatever. Running backs, I went Pacheco, Rashad White, Zamir White, Javonte, Tank Bigsby. Wide receiver, A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Josh Palmer, Brandon Cooks, Shoddy, DeMarcus, Javon Baker, tight end George Kittle, and Cole Kmetz. I think there are spots where like the bottom of the positions are a little bit fragile for sure, but I feel relatively good about the top half of all my spots.
There's a couple guys. I mean, I'm just looking at the ADP and then where you picked them. You got a couple pretty solid values. I mean, Rodgers, you got 24 spots late.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't pick him normally, but like he was just sitting there. Javonte, same thing. 20 spots later.
Yeah, 20 spots late.
Given how late you got him, and if you were going to get a quarterback 3, it's a really nice option to add to this
usually
room.
At that point in the draft, you're picking between like Derek Carr,
Daniel Jones types.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, Rodgers is sitting there.
Even Javon Baker was 12 spots late. Like, you got a couple good values there.
I like your team. I'm curious your thoughts on a couple things. One, like, how many times do you have a 2 tight end build? Is it basically when you get a guy higher up like Kittle there when you do that?
Yeah, I think realistically, when I picked Rodgers, I think I was probably deciding between a quarterback and a tight end, and it was like Rodgers or like Jonnu Smith. So I was like, you know what? Because Rodgers felt like such a good value, I'll take him. And then I usually only go 3 and 2. I don't think it's bad to go 3 and 3, to be honest with you, if you feel like that's how you want to bolster your team. But more often than not, if the QB spot there is like Derek Carr, I might lean with the tight end there instead. But it was just like I liked him a lot more than what I had in the other spot.
I almost always, unless it's a rare scenario, go 3 and 2 with 3 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Your wide receiver room, though, A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman,
nice.
Like juicy. That's juicy
good.
at the top.
I feel real good about that room.
And then getting Palmer and Cooks, I feel like at cheap points where those are
dude, Pacheco's
those are both
ADP
nice little players.
Fucking insane in best ball. 47. I took him at 40. Dude, I really think in like redraft leagues, like when you sit down with your college friends, I think Pacheco is going to be like a top 15 pick in redraft.
Really?
Yeah. I think if you look at ADP on like ESPN, I think he's like the number 13 pick
overall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like one quarterback leagues. I think. Wow. I mean, running backs obviously spike up in like friends and family leagues.
Yeah.
I think he's really fucking highly valued. Someone asks, is there a possibility Javonte gets cut? That feels like crazy noise to me. I don't think
you know what's kind of interesting about that in the scoring format. So if you like look at, you can see what they did in past years. Like Pittman last year, who had a good year, basically scored what Pacheco did last year.
Yeah,
and I think Pacheco is going to, if he's healthy, absolutely beat what he did last year.
So
almost guaranteed.
On ESPN, he's the 17th overall player.
Wow.
Those types of formats in leagues obviously are like super skewed towards running backs. But like when you think about it if you were playing 5 years ago, you didn't play best ball, like coming off the year that Pacheco had, no more McKinnon there. I don't really see a good argument as to why he shouldn't be.
So would you be investing at that cost? The 17th overall player, are you investing at that?
Unlikely, but I'll take as much 4th round Pacheco as I could possibly get my hands on.
Makes sense.
No, I like Pacheco in that spot. I think your team, I think you've been doing a lot of these drafts. This is I mean, obviously you don't know, but
the value pockets of like where players are.
The more you do it, I feel like I get very comfortable with when I want to take what positions, unless
Mhm.
there's an outlier.
Yeah.
Right. And then you kind of build your
Exactly.
team in a similar mold.
And I feel like too, the more that I draft, sometimes when you do have those players, like you said, Nick, where like you don't draft a lot of Aaron Rodgers, but when he starts to fall like that, you notice that like you're getting a pretty good value. And I don't typically take this guy, so just for the exposure, get a little bit on Aaron Rodgers. I think that stuff is
that's like
that what makes me the most. That's why I love best ball. It's so
Same.
much strategy.
JMO, put the camera on, and that's that's why these drafts are so fun, because the risk involved is $3, right? You deposit $20 onto your account. You could do 6 drafts. You use the code BDG. They're going to double your deposit. You could literally draft throughout basically the entire summer just off that one first deposit and have such a good feel for where players are going to go, the value. So it's like when you do get to your home league draft and you're in round 3 and you see like one name that's sticking out because you've done so many best ball drafts, you're like, of course, that's the easy pick here. It becomes muscle memory at that point. So we will leave y'all with that. Every other Thursday, we'll be live streaming. Big Dog member, bdge.co to be in there. Sign up on Underdog with code BDGE, and they will match your deposit up to a lot of money. Warrior. Make sure you are subscribed to their individual channels as well. Dynasty, all that good stuff. A lot of content.
If you want to shoot the rock, you got to get your ass in the gym and get them shots up. Underdog drafts.
That's what we're here.
Let's get it.
You know, Andrew and Adam are starting to get some shots up, but a little bit rusty.
Yeah, it's cooked. We're cooked.
Oh, I've been putting
as
shots
you can tell, that was my first time getting shots up in a minute.
I've been putting shots up. I'm good.
Smoochies.
Smoochies.
End the stream.
Love you.